Hey Central, how are we all? I hope you're all hanging in there. What a week it's been, eh? Um, Watching the Trump and Biden thing in America. I don't know if you were watching the news just the other day on the evening of the election, but obviously we had those images of the two presidential candidates fighting it out and vying for power. And and then the very next news item that I watched on the BBC was a 3-year-old girl being rescued from the rubble of an earthquake. And so we had these two stark images of man grappling for power, an innocent little girl being rescued from death. And it reminded me about what's important and what God's called us to. God's called us not to wrestle for power, but to rescue, to be a part of a rescue mission and pulling and dragging people out of the rubble of life. And let's be honest, COVID has added to the rubble of life. Little things, certainly, that I've noticed, and I was chatting with somebody quite recently, is that I'm just missing being able to shake somebody's hand, pat them on the back, or even just give them a hug and say, "Hey, man, we love you." And in particular, when it comes to praying for people, I have taken that whole idea of laying hands on someone for granted. I know when we come out of COVID, when we get the chance to lay hands on somebody again, I am going to do that with more expectation and with more urgency and a sense of, God, would you come? But we also know that God still moves even without laying on of hands. And this week, I'd love us to do a couple of things. The LA guys are on a retreat, well, or a stay treat, if you like. And so that's Tom, Jill, and Jackie. Let's be praying for them. You know, we want them to come out of this restricted COVID season, um, but also come out with a greater sense of freedom in God. So let's keep praying for those guys and encourage them. If you've got their numbers and text numbers and stuff or emails, just email them something that's just going to be like a pat on the back or that laying on of hands moment and be a blessing to them. Drop them a note. And if you haven't got their numbers, just drop a note into abdn.central at catalyst.vin. And then finally, just a thought here. For those who came to the in-person services, fantastic. The feedback we've had has been really, really good. You guys loved it. Now, we're going to look at doing a monthly one of those. But how do people feel if we did a watch service? So at 10:30 in the morning, while the online stuff is live, a bunch of us gather at Guild Park to watch that together. If you think that's a good idea and you'd be up for that and you'd like to come, why don't you again just email back and just give us an idea if that's something that would really smoke your tires. Okay, we love you guys.